Welcome, my friends, to the Black Diamond for Monday, September 26th, 2016. John Lavinia, as always, is here with you. We've got an exciting call today, and I know a lot of people listen live and a lot of people listen to these recordings. So either way, you're going to love the message and the messenger tonight, because I've known this guy for a long time, and I remember when he was just a babe, just a kid, and yet here he is all these years later, and a senior coach here in Digital Altitude. But before I bring him out and introduce our topic, I want to remind especially our new people that we are getting pretty close. It's, 25 or so days until we're getting together for our first ever Marketing Mastery event in Las Vegas, Nevada. That is October 21st through 23rd at the Red Rock Casino Resort there in Las Vegas. You can still get tickets, although VIP tickets have been sold out for some time. You can still get what are called Sherpa tickets. Those are our standard tickets, and that is in your DA members site. When you log in, you'll see it right on your dashboard. Click for the details about the event. And that is my one and only announcement for today, and it is an exciting day because I know with all the new people, let me introduce our topic and then I'll bring out our speaker. With all the new people, perhaps this is your first Black Diamond call. I know we've got so many people who have joined us. This call has run for some years, long before Digital Altitude existed. I hosted calls like this where I get to bring out top earners from our industry to share their experience and hopefully save you some time, give you some insights, and illuminate the path a bit with the ideas and strategies that have worked for them to get them to the top. And now here we are in DA, and the call is aptly named the Black Diamond because this is expert level stuff. So what you're going to hear on this call, and this is my disclaimer for new people who have not heard this before. This is going to be a very raw conversation. We don't pre-plan or pre-script anything that happens on this call. It's very street. Sometimes it's in your face. The rules are take what you like and leave the rest. See how these ideas apply into your life and into your business, because I think that's the best way to get knowledge is for use, right? Like the great Napoleon Hill said, the purpose of education is not to get you to think in a way that you didn't previously think. It's to get you to behave in a way you did not previously behave. So see how these ideas can be used in your own business and for your own success. And as I always say each week, if we say anything that offends you, you'll get over it. That's how we roll. So that being said, tonight we're talking about a topic that a lot of people seem to have difficulty around, and that is a topic called money and our relationship with money, with this currency, this thing that we use to buy goods and services and to build businesses and to provide service beyond our own physical presence and to create leverage in the marketplace, this money thing. And I'll tell you, just as a preamble, when I first got started as an entrepreneur, I had a very confused outlook on money. I was not sure what this thing was really about, this green energy, this medium of exchange. And I always worked for money, and I saw other people in my environment working for money. And I thought, well, that's what money is. You got to work to earn money to be able to do these things like support your family and buy food and whatever. And so I worked for money, like most people. And I remember hearing a guy named Bob Proctor. Now, any of you who have been through the steps, you've met Bob Proctor at least in watching an excerpt from one movie that you were exposed to while going through the steps. On step 11, if you recall what I'm talking about, Bob Proctor is there. He was one of my first mentors. He was one of the people who sort of set me straight in terms of my relationship with money. And he said something pretty profound in a conference, in a seminar that I was attending live with him. I've since done events with him where we shared the stage and all that. This is when I was very new. And he was not new. He's been studying success and personal growth for about 10 years longer than I've been walking around in this body. And he said something like, people, they act like money is the master and they're the servant, like they've got to work for money. And I was like, yeah. He said, well, it's actually money is the servant and you're the master. Money is a tool for you to use to provide service beyond your own physical presence. That's what money does. It allows you to extend your reach beyond you showing up physically in some spot, and it does your bidding for you. And money simply makes you more of what you already are. And I thought, wow, That's profound. So money is the servant, I'm the master. Then why do I feel like I have to keep working for money? He said, you got to get this relationship straight. If you don't, you got no shot. You've got to understand that money is the servant. You are the master. And what happens when the master calls its servant? The servant must come. So you got to learn how to call this money to you and how to put it to good use. Find gainful employment for the money. Learn how to leverage yourself with money. Become powerful in your use of this energy, this medium of exchange. And I thought that was pretty great. So it kind of woke me up to an idea. And it's a very entrepreneurial idea. And it's one that we're going to be talking about at length here tonight with a guy who I remember when he was brand new, like I said before, just a babe. And here's somebody who took the coaching, right? Here's somebody who said, well, you know what? I'm not here to be a spectator. I'm here to be a leader. I'm here to be another top earner and somebody who can actually experience what the guys like Proctor are talking about, where I get to be the master. And money is put back in the place where it's supposed to be, which is my servant. And that's a guy from Arkansas who many of you have probably heard from if you've been around here in the coaching platform and perhaps you've had an opportunity to speak with this guy one-on-one. He's become a powerful force in the top-tier direct sales industry, and that is Coach Beau Ryan out of Arkansas. Coach Beau, how are you tonight, brother?
I'm awesome, man. Thank you for that introduction.
Yeah, well, thank you, man. Thanks for carrying the torch. You know, I always wonder, do I have any sort of an effect? Do people listen? And
Yeah.
you know what? Apparently they do. Here you are all these years later, and I'm not here to take credit for that, but I know that, at some point you and I met on the path.
Oh,
And
you
wow,
were the voice, man. You were the guy. I mean, when I first started, I was glued to my phone every morning and every Monday night listening to you. And it was just, it completely changed my whole view of life, the personal development that you gave me. So thank you for that, man. You are definitely one of the individuals that have impacted my life in a very positive way.
Wow, thank you, Beau. I appreciate you saying that, and thank you again for taking the coaching, for doing something with the information, right? That's just data, but you did something with it, so thank you, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, if you're ready to get rolling here, man, I'm ready.
Yeah, let's roll. What do you think about this whole money thing?
Well, money. So what's your relationship with money is huge when you start so when I think back when I started work, after I played college baseball, my first job was as a financial advisor with American Express Financial Advisors in Little Rock, okay? And we went through all this education. I had to get my Series 7. I had to get all these different licenses, insurance licenses, Series 7, Series 66, Series 67, all these different licenses, certified financial planner, all these different things. And it taught me it educated me about money, all right? It educated me about investing and balanced portfolios and annuities and variable universal life insurance policies and life and DI and long-term care and all these different things. And I would bring a client in and, I would charge a fee and I'd go through and I'd do a financial plan for them and I would come back and I would make these recommendations to them, right? And I always noticed that my biggest clients barely did much, it seemed like. They owned businesses that worked for them, that, money was working for them. They weren't working for money, and they were using me as somebody to guide them in the right investments that was recommended to us by American Express. Now, hindsight 2020, I was making commission, American Express was making commission. It really, if you look at, over time and expense fees and all that, it's really, kind of counterproductive. So, but bottom line, I learned a lot about money at first. Like, that was my first money experience, was being a financial advisor. But that didn't really teach me about the street game. That didn't teach me about true entrepreneurship. That didn't really, to be honest with you, I don't think that it really gave me much more than just the foundation of understanding how to invest money in the market and how to buy insurance and how to protect myself, in case of loss, and how to help other people protect themselves. It really didn't teach me about money from an entrepreneurial standpoint. or cash flow, which is what I want to get into tonight. What taught me about money, what the most profound book I ever read, and I'm sure everybody here has read it, but I'm the type of guy that if I read something or I listen to somebody and I say I'm going to do something, I do it. Like I don't just, oh, that was a great idea. I actually go do it. You know, that's just how I am. That's how I'm wired. So I read this book by Robert Kiyosaki called A Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And then I read all of his other books. And the most profound book I ever read was The Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. Changed my entire world the way I thought about money. Completely changed. After I read that book, I bought 45 real estate rental units within a year and a half. I opened up a fitness center. I bought ATMs from a guy down in Texas who scammed me, and I flew to Texas, and I got my money back, you know, all these different things. But I learned about money, and it put me on that path of entrepreneurship. And so I want to talk to you guys tonight about what changed me with my relationship with money, and I also want to take it to a step further and talk about how not only your relationship with money needs to be, but how you can apply this new thought process with digital altitude or this space high-end direct sales. You know, John, you've been here, what, 15 years in this industry or longer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been here 13 years, right? So I've seen all these new people coming in, and there's so many different confused and, you know, just different emotions that people attach to money, right? And what changed me was the debt idea. Debt, okay? So what is debt? And I talk to people about this all the time. And some people get it, some people don't. But there's good debt and there is bad debt, okay? And so what is good debt? What is bad debt? Well, let's start with bad debt. If you go to Costco or Sam's or Walmart or wherever and you buy a flat screen TV for $3,000 and you're like, oh, I got this card from Sam's, you know, it's only 15% interest for 3 years. My payment's only $150 a month. I can afford that. Is that good debt or bad debt? It's bad debt. It goes down in value. And this is a simple idea, right? But the people I talk to all the time, I'm like, how much debt you have? Oh, man, do I have some debt? You know, they're buying refrigerators. They're buying washer and dryers. They're buying vehicles. They're buying stereo systems. They're buying couches. They're buying chairs. They're buying patio furniture and grills and flat screen TVs and pictures for their wall on credit. All of these things go down in value. You can argue the pictures on the wall. It might be good art. It might go up in value, right? But most of these things go down in value. You cannot get into bad debt. You cannot finance bad debt. That is a no-no. If you're doing it yourself, you're teaching your kids to do it. Getting a loan for a boat, a jet ski, a motorcycle, all of these things are bad debt. But yet you'll go drop $30,000 on an SUV, get a loan for it for 5 or 6 or 7 years at 5%, and you'll be like, oh, I can afford that payment. I'm going to get it. I want that. I'm going to get it. But when it comes to this business and you start looking at some of the higher levels, it's a completely different, you know, I'm not doing that. There's no way I could afford that. But yeah, you can go afford a $30,000, $35,000, $40,000 SUV. You got to shift the way you think. Okay, so let's bring this into reality right now. A lot of you guys listening, a lot of you people listening to this call, John, you and I included, right? We have children, okay? So these children, 10, 12, 13, 14 years, are going to college, okay? Where are they going to live when they're in college? What is your thought process? Well, they're going to live in a dorm, or they're going to go rent an apartment, right? Well, why don't you think differently about that? Why don't you teach them about good debt, bad debt when they go to college? Why don't you think of as the mentor or the father or the mother, okay, I'm going to work with you when you're 17, 18, 19 years old, you're going to college. We're going to go in and we're buying a duplex together at your college. You're going to live in one side. You probably have 2 or 3 rooms. You're going to have some roommates because you're going to meet some friends. They're going to rent from you. And then you're going to rent out the other side maybe to some friends or to, people that live in the town or going to college or whatever. You're going to rent that side out. And by the time you get out of college, you'll have some equity built because we're going to put some money down. We're going to pay down the debt. By the time you get out of college, you'll have some equity built. You can sell it and use that equity to go forth and put down on your first house or pay cash for your first house or at least pay cash for whatever when you get out of college. So instead of college being something that costs you money, you start making money with it. So I want to shift the way that you guys think about that. This business is, so let me just give you background. Right now, I own 5 different businesses. Okay, I own an app that's coming out in about a week. I own a lawn care company. I own a franchise. I've got another company online, and I do digital altitude. Okay, so I got 5 different businesses as an entrepreneur. I've had a lot more businesses than that. Some have failed. Some have been successful. I've sold some, done well, yada, 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 right? So when I look at digital altitude, and I'm sitting here thinking, as an entrepreneur, I think the number one decision, John, I think you'll agree with me on this, is if you're going to own a business, your number one, of course the business has to provide a service, solve a problem, it's got to work, it's got to be profitable, all those things, right? But you have to hire, if your money's going to work for you, you have to hire the right person. Like hiring the right team or the right person is the most important decision, or your business, it doesn't run for you. In fact, it becomes a loss, and you start losing money. It becomes a money pit, and then you have to file bankruptcy on it, or you have to get rid of it. You got to shut it down, right? But that person you hire can make all the difference in the world. So when you look at digital altitude, there's a couple different aspects to look at this. I'm going to get into them. You're hiring guys. You don't have to be good at what we do to be good in this business. You don't have to be good at closing sales, talking to people on the phone. In fact, you don't have to talk to people on the phone. You don't have to close sales. You don't have to, talk to groups of people all day and do business plans and do strategy sessions and do all the things that the coaches do. You don't have to do all that. So the question is digital altitude something that I can do? Absolutely, because it doesn't take talent or skill. It doesn't take talent or skill for you to be successful here. You know what it takes? It takes discipline and follow-through, because all you have to do is drive traffic to that $1 offer. You don't have to create the website. You don't have to create the banners. You don't have to create the sales funnels. You don't have to create any of that. All of that is created by a team of people. That's what they do, ongoing, and they're updating these sales funnels. They're going to be coming out with new ones, every quarter, every 6 months. You don't have to worry about that. Okay? All you've got to do is follow directions on videos. All you have to do is listen to your group traffic calls. All you have to do is listen, if you're at a send or above, your one-on-one traffic coach, and follow what they do. That's it. Follow the leader. Discipline and follow through. It doesn't take talent or skill. So can anyone do this? Absolutely. It's the most brilliant business plan ever, because you got all these people like myself who've got 10 plus years experience doing the work, the heavy lifting for you. It's amazing, right? So I'm giving these talks every day to people, and I think they love it. They tell me they love it. So some people might not, they'll get over it, right? So here's the thing. You've got a business model here, and I want you to understand the business model from a cash flow perspective, okay? Here is the DA business model. First of all, I'm going to be in your face right now. This is raw, but I think you need it. Stop looking at digital altitude from a $1 business or a $50 business or a $2,000 business. Stop looking at it like that. Just stop. All right? Me as an S2 coach, John, you as an S2 coach, and the other people at the top here, we look at, if you buy Rise, the Rise product, okay, now we think you're pretty serious. Pretty serious. Okay? Now we think you're a pretty serious individual, that you You're stepping up to the plate a little bit. You're ready to take some action. That's it. Okay? Just personally. All right? That's not the opinion of everyone else or the company or whatever. That's just me personally as an S2 coach. Okay, he or she is almost serious. Maybe serious. We'll see. Right? The way you got to look at this business, if you haven't studied the compensation plan, you need to study it. There are a lot more levels. Let's start at the top, Apex. Below that is Peak. Below that is Ascend. Below that is Rise, Base, and then the Aspire monthly fee, right? So when I talk to people, I have them look at this business from an Apex point of view. Oh my gosh, are you serious? If I buy Ascend, if I buy Peak, and I buy Apex, and let's just, that's, if you know the numbers, the compensation plan, that's a lot of money for a lot of people to look at it, right? But that's not the way you look at it. Let's just take me as an entrepreneur. If I look at starting a business with $100,000, I don't look at it as, oh my God, I gotta stroke a check for $100,000. I gotta write a check for $100,000. I don't look at it like that. You know how I look at $100,000? I look at it from the standpoint of, okay, $100,000, that's $1,000 a month for 10 years. That's the way I look at it as a business owner, right? Is the business, if I invest in a business or if I put money into a business or start a business, good debt or bad debt? Here's the two questions you always have to ask when you think of good debt or bad debt, okay? And you should definitely write this down. Good debt does two things. It goes up in value and it pays for itself. Up in value, pays for itself. That's good debt. Bad debt goes down in value, does not pay for itself. Okay? So based on that, you look at this business. Well, what are you even selling here? What is Digital Altitude even doing? Who are we? What do we do? People ask me all the time, what do you do? Right? Well, we are selling and providing a service called education, marketing education. Any business owner, anybody who wants to distribute any message on the internet can buy our products, the Rise, the Base, the Ascend, Peak, Apex product, and they can learn how to market their business better on the internet. Take me, for example. This franchise that I own, this lawn care company that I own, these other companies that I own, right? I'm taking the knowledge that I got from Michael Force and some of the best marketers in the industry. Some of the best marketers in the industry are in Digital Altitude. I see them on Facebook all the time. I'm happy to be serving them, right? They are teaching any business owner how to market their business online. So this franchise that I own, we're the number 3 franchise in the country for one territory, the 3rd in the country in Jonesboro, Arkansas, right? Why is that? Because I use the techniques that I've learned from people like Michael Force, Digital Altitude, the other companies I've been with, and I've applied them on the internet, right? I learned how to market and the importance of marketing. You don't think that marketing is valuable? You are sadly mistaken. You don't think that the Rise product is valuable in the marketplace? That $2,000 product can be taken from a small business owner like myself and turned into $20,000 a month just from that knowledge. It's valuable. It's worth way more than what people are paying for it, just so you know. Okay, it's very valuable. Well, I haven't seen it. I haven't went through my products. This is my product section. If you bought Rise or Base, you need to buy it so you learn how to be a marketer, right? It's not just for Digital Altitude. This is not a Ponzi scheme. We're not just teaching people in Digital Altitude how to market. We're teaching any business owner that wants to learn how to market, okay? So let's look at this business from a cash flow perspective. How do you look at DA from the cash flow perspective? First of all, if I operate DA for 5 years and I'm building a list, and in 5 years I want to sell my business. Some of these people that you're seeing on Facebook, some of the people I see, Jason and Kiara and Ella and some of these people, and I know, and Alex and some of these top people, and I can't wait to meet you at Vegas. these people could sell their list that they're creating with Digital Altitude in 5 years for a lot of money, a lot more than what they paid to be in Digital Altitude. I guarantee you that. You can too. Every person that's coming on your list through your marketing efforts is adding dollars to your bank account if you want to sell your business, sell your position. So does it go up in value? Absolutely. Does it pay for itself? Absolutely, if you believe in yourself and you follow through with your discipline and follow through. Okay? So you've got to follow through. And so it all comes down to one metric, and I'll get to that in a second. But I want to talk to you from a good, so it's good debt. We know that it's good debt. It goes up in value, pays for itself. Obviously, it pays for itself. We've got people making, 50, 60, 80, 100, 150,000, 200,000 a month, right? And probably more than that at this point. Okay, so does it pay for itself? So you as a new person, or even as an existing person here, you're starting to look at some of these products. You're looking at Rise. You're looking at Apex. You're looking at Peak. You're looking at Ascend, okay? You have to look at it from a cash flow perspective, all right? At most, if you go through the channels that we recommend and you get financing for the highest level product, okay, you're looking at a 1% payment per month, or $600. $600, okay? Now, the metrics that I've used over the years, if you go to get 57 clicks per day, or let's just say 60 clicks per day, that's your marketing expense. Your goal, not bot traffic, but this is you getting traffic based on the methods that your traffic coach is teaching you and the strategies that you're learning. You're getting this traffic, let's say an average of $1 per click. Some people are better, some people are worse, but an average of $1. So $57 per day. That's $1,710 per month. $600 in debt service, okay? So you've got, and I'm just talking at the highest level, the highest level here, okay? At most, $600, $1,700, you got the 127 climber, and you got that pesky little $17 affiliate fee, right? That affiliate fee that gets you your websites, management of your leads, you can view all the notes the coaches are taking, yada, yada, yada. You got that $17. So what does all that add up to? Well, you're looking at, if we add it all up, roughly, what, $2,500? So highest level, $2,500. There's people spending more than that. There's people spending less than that, making more than that, right? So you look at $2,500 a month. My franchise business that I operate, the monthly the monthly bottom line is $35,000 to $40,000 a month. Okay? And I don't even make a tenth of what I make there. It's operating, it's building up, it's a great retirement income, it's a great tax thing, it's building up, it's doing fantastic, I'm leaving all that money alone. This is where I make money, is Digital Altitude, right? But that monthly nut is $35,000 to $40,000 a month. And you guys are coming here cringing over $2,000 to $3,000 a month. Okay? So you're spending that money, right? Well, if you're at peak or you're at apex, the highest level, and you got up to building that 57, 60 clicks per day, the numbers that I've worked out over the years, if you're at peak, will be about $30,000 a month, $32,000 a month in income. At apex, roughly $40,000 a month in income. 10 times the amount, more than 10 times on peak or on apex than you're spending. So when I look at the business from an entrepreneurial standpoint, I'll bring this together. It's just like a line. I see it in my mind. I see a line. And I say, okay, so in my mind, it's like $2,000, $2,500 a month, and I can make $25,000, $30,000 a month if I'm a marketer. That's how I look at it. I see a profit margin from an entrepreneurial perspective. All I've got to do is drive traffic. In fact, all I've got to do is drive 60 clicks per day to that website, to that $1 offer. And if I'm at peak, I'm at $30,000 a month in income. and it's going to cost me about $2,500 a month in marketing. That's the way I look at the business as an entrepreneur. So I got a profit margin of what, $27,500? That is insane in the marketplace. And back to my point of who you hire is the most important thing about your business. If you're owning a business so that your money and your machine and your system can work for you, you're hiring the best. I'm not just tooting my own horn, and John's not tooting his own horn. We've been here for 13, 15, 16 years. Michael Force has been here, done that. We've had a lot of success, a lot of failure in this industry. But digital altitude is the evolution of everything in the industry that's been right, everything that's been wrong, and we feel like now that what we have here is everything that's right in the industry. It's like all cylinders are firing. It's like everything's working, right? It's like the machine is working. You know, the machine never, it's like this other guy, Joe, you know who I'm talking about, John, he always said, the machine never rests. And back then, we were all creating our own websites. We were all doing our own selling. We were doing, you know, we did everything. Now, all you got to do is drive traffic to a $1 offer, and everything else is done for you. Because we realized that, yes, anybody, if they follow through, can drive traffic. Anybody can do that, okay? Because you don't even have to have money. There's free ways to market that you'll learn about in the social media training and whatnot. There are free ways to market. So you don't have to have money, right? So there's free ways to drive traffic. You just need to set that goal of 57 to 60 clicks a day and go get it, okay? Anybody can drive traffic. All that takes is discipline and follow-through. Anybody can do that. But what we realize over the years is we can have, you know, one lady or one man, she could get the same 10 buyers or 10 people that bought the first level product of $2,000, and she would get nobody to buy the higher level, right? And then you could give somebody like John or somebody like me those 10 people, and 7 will buy Ascend, 5 or 6 will buy Peak, and 1, 2, or 3 are going to buy Apex. Okay, so that's where we realize in the industry that not everybody has the talent and skill to do what we do at those levels. So that's why DA is working on the affiliate scale that it is. That's why you're seeing so many people coming in here and so many people making so much money. That's why you're seeing that. But you've got to step back from all of the noise as an individual. And you got to look at that. You have to separate. Okay, let's talk about how you deal with your relationship with money as it relates to starting a business. You have your home in one box. This is your home. This is where you live, where you rent, where your mortgage is, whatever, right? You've got your utility bills, you've got your internet, you've got your cable, you've got your mortgage payment, you've got your insurances all over here in this side. This is your home, right? Mentally, you have to create another box, another entity outside of your home. So you got your home over here on the left, you got this business on the right. You have to treat this business as an entirely different entity in your mind, okay? You can't lump it in over here with your personal bills. You can't do it, okay? When you're starting, you've got to separate it. You've got to look at it from a business owner standpoint, from a cash flow perspective. What is my income potential if I follow through? What are my expenses? That's how you have to look at it. Okay, so the way I look at it personally, I'm just telling you, I see $2,000, $2,500 a month, and I know that if I'm at peak or above, I'm at $30,000 to $40,000 a month in income. That's the way I look at it. Can you see that line? Can you see, if you just take your hand and draw it right in front of your eyes, that line, $2,000? And you take your other hand, you put it way above that hand. That's your income potential. You don't get that in other businesses. I'm telling you, I've got the experience. You don't get it in rental real estate. You don't get it in franchise businesses. You don't get it in startups. You just don't get it, guys. It's amazing. And you tap into people that speak English all over the world. Like, this business model is amazing. I'm so passionate about it. I love it. I love talking to you guys on a daily basis and getting you fired up. I love getting in your face and changing the way you think, right? I love that. And be glad that you have me working for you. Be glad you've got John working for you. This is what we love to do. This is our passion in life. If I had $100 million sitting in the bank today, I would still be doing this because I love it. It takes me 3-4 hours a day, and I love every minute of it. Now, there are some things that frustrate me, which everybody does, but I love it overall. It's amazing. So your relationship with money has got to shift, okay? You've got to look at this business and that $2,000 a month or $1,000, whatever your budget is, right? You have to look at that, and you got to look at, okay, every one of those dollars that I'm spending for this business is a foot soldier working for me times 10. Every one of those dollars is creating 10 more dollars for me every month. The way you look at money is a foot soldier. That piece, that money, that dollar bill is going out and working for you, not you working for it. Okay, so I've completely, and I've had a breakthrough. I've been, an entrepreneur now for about 13 to 15 years, and I've personally had a breakthrough over the last couple of years. About 2.5 years ago, I went to that real estate rental and had 45 rental units, and I sold them all. I was tired of the maintenance. I was tired of no cash flow. I got great tax write-off and had some equity built, but it just wasn't the cash flow. I was cash poor. It was like everything I had was going into those things, right? So I sold them. I got rid of it. Now my whole new thing is I'm owning businesses. I am owning different businesses. That's where I'm at personally. And since that breakthrough, the businesses, they make you tons of money, and you can sell them for multiples of, 2.5 times the annual revenue, right? It's amazing. So you start getting into business and understanding those numbers and looking at it from that perspective and your exit strategies and all those different things. You look at this business, it's a great jump start into an amazing diversified income portfolio. Retirement, current cash flow, laptop lifestyle, freedompreneur. I mean, heck, if I didn't have a son in school and I wasn't the coach of everything, I could be out living anywhere as well, okay? But, my goal in life was to be here for my son and to coach him in sports and to raise him and mentor him and teach him the ways of success and the way to build wealth in his life. So he has a great life. So the real relationship with money comes to this. What are you doing every day with money as it relates to how your children are looking at you? Are you starting something and quitting? Are you starting something and blaming that company on being a scam? Are you listening to these people telling you not to invest your money in this business? Those are scams. Those don't work. You're going to fail. And you start it up and you quit, and you just prove them right. And now you go online and you start bitching about it, right? You can't do that. You start something, you've got to follow through with it because there's a lot of people watching you. You line up 100 people in front of you, and you ask all 100 of those people, should I start this business? Should I put the money in this business? What are they going to tell you? 99, 98 of them are going to tell you not to. That's a scam. You're wasting your money. Better off getting a job. That's how you're raised in society. But there's those 1 or 2 people, those multimillionaires, that's going to say, hey, if you believe in yourself and you follow through and you do what they tell you and you understand and appreciate what they've put into this for you, you're going to change your life forever. And you're never going to look back, and you're going to prove all those people wrong. All of those haters, you're going to prove them wrong. Even your wife or your husband. It starts with you and you only. You don't need permission from anybody to follow your dreams. It starts with right inside of you and who you are and who you want to be, and you follow through with that. And when you do that and you have success with what you decided to do and the path you set on and you follow through with it, now all the kids and the aunts and the uncles and the friends and the naysayers and the spouses. Now they're going to be like, wow. And they're going to talk about you. That guy did it. That woman did it. They're going to be inspired by you. They're going to start businesses. It's amazing what happens. I've seen it personally. It's amazing. And I'm going to end with this. And I've been telling this as an analogy I used when the Olympics were on. And I was watching this guy, Michael Phelps, as a swimmer. And I'm thinking about this guy just over and over these Olympic championships and gold medals that he's won. And I think about these athletes. And then I think about this business. So how does the Olympic athlete Michael Phelps relate to our business? All right, him and Michael Force have kind of the same name, Michael Force, Michael Phelps. So here's my relation. Here's the analogy. If I locked you in an arena with Michael Phelps for 90 days, and there was an Olympic-sized swimming pool, the doors were locked, nobody in, nobody out, just you and him, for 90 days. Now, if you take a scale of 1 to 10 on swimmer level, he's a 10, right? He's expert level. Very few people ever going to touch what he's done ever, right? From here on out, very few people ever touch what he's done, okay? So you're never probably going to ever be as good as him. I mean, you just probably won't. Let's just admit it. So he's a 10, you're a 1. You have no phone, no internet, nobody comes in or out. You've got a place to sleep. You got a swimming pool. You got Michael Phelps. You got swim shorts, bikini, whatever you're swimming in, and it's just you and him for 90 days. And you work with him for 90 days, and that's all you do. After those 90 days, you're doing, during those 90 days, you're doing drills, you're tired, you're hurting, you're whining, you're complaining, you don't want to get out of bed, and he drags you out, throws you in the pool, and you get after it again, right? And those first weeks, horrible. You're swimming and doing exercises 2-3 different times in the day. You're tired. You don't want to do anything. You hurt. You're just barely moving. That first week's horrible. The second week's horrible. The third week's horrible. That fourth week, you're starting to get in a little bit better shape. That fifth week, you get, a little bit better. You're starting to feel better. You're starting to move through the pool good. 6, 7, 8 weeks, you're better. You're starting to improve, and you're feeling good. You're getting in shape. And that last month, you're like, man, I feel good. I'm glad I did this. I feel great. It's the best I've ever felt in my life. And at the end of those 90 days, you're not going to be a 10, but you're going to be a 3, a 4, maybe a 5 on a level 1 to 10, right? So you're in that arena with Michael Phelps. And after 90 days, you come out of there, and you're probably a better swimmer than 98, 99% of the world just because you trained with him for 90 days. And that's all you did. No phone, no internet, nobody in or out. It's just you and him. And if we can equate that, and the level 10 is $100,000 a month, and you start at 0, and you're a 2, 3, or 4, and you're at 20, 30, 40, maybe 50,000 a month at the end of those 90 days because that's all you did, you're going to be pretty happy with that, aren't you? And people ask me all the time, Beau, how'd you do it? And it was just pure grit. My first 90 days, after I started marketing, I made $3,000 my first month, I made $8,000 my second month, $27,000 my third month, $44,000 my fourth month. You know what it was? I didn't sleep hardly. I'm a workout freak. I love to work out. I didn't work out for 90 days. I hardly showered. I was up 3 in the morning. We didn't have Skype back then, and people could see me online like, what are you doing? I'm like, man, I know I can get this marketing. I know I can get it down. I know I can do it. I know I can do it. I'd get up. I was obsessed. I was committed. I was addicted to success. That's what it takes. Every successful person listening to me right now knows exactly what I'm talking about because every one of them did it. They might tell you, oh, this is easy, this is great, whatever. Those first 90 days, they busted their hump. And they did it because they believed in themselves. They believed that if another person could do it, by God, so can I. And they did it until they got it. And then all of a sudden, 3 months, 4 months later, they're like this rock star, this hero. And they just came out of the blue. And all of a sudden, we're on stage and we're being announced and people are loving us. And it's like, where did this guy come from? Well, I've been busting my ass 14, 15 hours a day getting these clicks to my website for 3 months. And here I am now. See, that's what it takes. So these 3 words, addiction, immersion, total commitment is what it takes. That's what it takes, man. So it's a combination. It's understanding money, making the right decisions with money, also following through with discipline, addiction, commitment. That's what it takes. So, John, that's my call, brother.
Wow. Beau, ladies and gentlemen, Beau. That was awesome, man. I was picturing myself in the swimming pool with Michael Phelps with my bikini.
Yeah.
You know, what you're talking about, it just resonates no matter where we're at on the path. I think it resonates with everybody on this call. And I was thinking about that pool analogy, which I enjoyed very much. Because like you, I'm also into fitness. I've been lifting weights for some decades, and I've recently taken up Israeli martial arts, right? And so I go, like for the martial arts example, I go and, compared to the public, yeah, I'm kind of a badass. Compared to the third degree black belt who trains me, the guy could crush me in like a second, right? So it's all relative, right? It's all relative. But guess what, right? If we're, like you're talking about, in fact, Napoleon Hill talked about this in Think and Grow Rich. He talked about people becoming obsessed with success. And that's a good thing, right? It's like, how bad do you want it, right? We're obsessed with success. Thomas Edison was obsessed with a light bulb. Like, the guy could not live without a light bulb. Thank you, Tom. Thank you. It's dark here right now, but I can see where I'm going. Thank you, Tom. Right? So I honor that. And, some people on the outside might look at, like, balk at it and say, well, balance. What about balance? Yeah, balance comes too. You have fun in your life. Right, I've got things that I do that are recreational, but there are times to make hay because the sun is shining. Right? Isn't it the old saying, make hay while the sun is shining?
Yeah, but that balance comes after that time of commitment.
Sure.
To me, after that 90 days, after that 4 months or 6 months for some people, then I could get balance. But I had to get there first. Mm-hmm. I was obsessed with those clicks. I was obsessed with those leads. That's what I wanted,
Right.
And I wasn't going to stop or sleep or shave or take a shower until I got it. That's how I was, and that's how you were. I remember you talking about you being in the car dealership and being in the car, talking on the phone and being on the calls and calling your leads,
Yeah.
When you started.
Yeah,
that's what it takes, man.
It was not a casual victory. And you know what? However that shows up for people, it shows up for people. For me, it was not balanced. But again, I think that some people would look at that and say, well, I need to, we need to be reasonable. Well, Beau and I, we could tell you both, we're not reasonable guys. We're unreasonable. No. Like George Bernard Shaw said all those years ago, all progress depends on the unreasonable. So, that's the way to be, I think, and in my experience. So it's not just a theory. It's what I've actually witnessed in my life and in the lives of others. So the question is, how bad do you want it? And do you have the discernment? Do you have the strength of mind to look at conditions that you want to create, like this financial freedom, this liberty that you're looking to create in your life, the reason you got started in a business in the first place? And can you see that the iron is hot and that you should strike? Do you have that discernment? Beau, even after having become successful, I've had business projects, and we are going to open it up for Q&A here in a minute. But you just hit so many nerves with me. Again, I'm blown away by your talk. Thank you so much. But I had business projects after having become successful that failed and that didn't pan out, right? And you win some, you lose some. You can't win them all. You can't lose them all either, right? We've made millions. That's wonderful. But the old saying, you miss every shot you don't take. But then here comes an opportunity, right? Here comes right. Something down the pike that looks really tasty. The iron's really hot. And John, even after all these years, is missing showers and sometimes even missing a workout, believe it or not, because you make hay while the sun is shining. Well, I had a project we were working on. This is about a year and a half ago. myself and my business partner in one of the companies that I own, which, by the way, is way more work. Like Beau was talking about, everybody, if you think it's glamorous, starting companies and running, look, it is not glamorous. It is a ton of work and not a ton of profit. But, you know, when the iron's hot, you strike. And we had a business program that we brought in over $10 million in 6 months. We just hit it so hard. And it was 6 months was a blur. But there's the $10 million, right? I even wound up producing a course about how we did it. But that's the thing, right? You can't lose them all. You got to win too. So what I look at with Digital Aptitude is that all these people have come together, which I think is evidence enough. Just the fact that Beau, you and I are working together again on the same team, right, for the same cause, for the same purpose. And it's not just you and me. You look at everyone from Michael Force through the entire corporate staff and the coaching platform and what Jeremy has done and Jason Howell, who I just talked to earlier. They're out in Vegas doing a site walkthrough, making sure everything's going to be perfect for the big event in October. So people are working for who? For you, for the new member, for the person listening to this right now. This is not by happenstance, and there's nothing casual or coincidental about this. This is a very powerful thing that has come together, and it's the result of, as Beau said, evolution that's taken place well over a decade in this industry. So anyway, Beau, I just wanted to express, before we open it up for our callers, my gratitude for you tonight. I'm truly inspired by what you just said, man. It's fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, man, my pleasure. I get chills when I was talking. Yep.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. All right, so here's what we're going to do, folks. We're going to keep it on topic. I know I've opened it up for Q&A over the last couple of weeks, and we want to share the time, so we'll keep it brief and on point. But like, if you got any questions that need to get routed onto support, just click help in the DA back office. You can click help, right? So it's not, so we're not getting off topic. So let's keep it on the topic and let's share the time. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up for Q&A. And if you're on a phone or Skype, you can hit *6. And if you're using the app, then I guess you click the mute button or whatever. *6 is the command. There we go. We've got a couple of people who have joined us live. Again, we are going to keep it on topic, please. So here we go. And our first caller is Justin Williams. Justin, you're live on the air. Justin, are you there? Let's see if Justin is there. One more call for Justin. Okay, it looks like Justin, are you there? And didn't work out with Justin. So let's go to our next caller, which is Nicholas. Nicholas, you're live on the air. Nicholas, we're hearing some static, but we're not hearing your mouth. Hopefully this isn't a technical difficulty night. Nicholas, one more try. Hello. Okay, we're going to go to our next caller. We'll see if this one works. Davis Andreas or Andreas Davis, you're live.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Fantastic. All right, so it's not us. It's the bridge is working. Davis, I'm sorry, was it Andreas or Davis?
Andreas Davis.
Andreas. Welcome, Andreas. What's your question, sir?
So my question is, unfortunately, I went through all the 6 steps. Unfortunately, financially, I can't right now get on the Rise pack. I have be on the Aspire, but that is my number one goal to get to. What can I do in the meanwhile while I am pushing to get to there?
Can I answer that, John?
Yeah, it's your call, Beau.
All right, first of all, that's the worst thing you could say is I can't do it, okay? Because you can. Where do you live?
Rosedale, New York, Queens.
You live in New York City. Arguably in the most successful, prosperous country of all time in the history of the earth. Money's all around you, okay? So you can do it, first of all. The number one skill of an entrepreneur is raising capital for his or her business. That's the number one skill. You've got to master that skill. How do you do it? You may not be able to do it personally right now, But there are people in this world that believe in you that will be willing to help you. Okay? So you have to start not thinking about, I can't do this. Think like this. Okay, if I could do this, what could I do? What could I do today? Who could I ask? Who would co-sign? How could I go raise $2,000 very quickly? How could I go raise in the next couple weeks? How could I get a loan? How could I get somebody to believe in me? That's how you have to think. Start like that, and your possibilities will open up. They're endless. They're endless. In New York City, you got money all around you. You can do it.
Yeah, right about that. Yeah.
You can do it. Believe in yourself, man. You can do it easy. You can sell stuff. You can go get somebody to believe in you, loan you the money. You can go have a co-signer. I mean, if you needed a $10,000 car, you can't get financing for it, how would you get it?
Find a way.
Your grandma would co-sign for you, wouldn't she?
I will hope so.
Yeah. So that's how you have to think. Never say you can't do something.
Yeah,
Ever.
I mean, I meant me personally as far as myself, but yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from though. Yeah, definitely. All right, thank you for that.
Awesome.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You know what, Beau? That reminds me of something. Again, I'll refer to Bob Proctor in a seminar, right? Which I paid to be in, right? Investing in myself.
I was there.
Yeah, there you go. And so Bob was talking to somebody about he wanted to buy a house, but he didn't have the money, and he said, "Well, you don't need the money." And the guy is like, what do you mean? He said, well, you haven't made the decision to buy the house, right? So once you've made the decision to buy the house, then you get the money, where the decision always comes first.
That's right.
Good stuff. Thanks again, Andreas. Glad you're here. And we have one more. We have Duke. Duke, you're live on the air.
What's going on, man? How y'all doing?
Doing good.
All right. I just wanted to say something. Just as far as, to the new members, as a new member myself, this system works. This system works. Me personally, I started, last month, and, I've been to a couple of MLM companies, and you know how it is when they teach you the old BS, family and friends tactics. Y'all know what I'm talking about, and that never worked for me. I never generated a single lead. Never generated a single sale. Let me tell you something. I studied the training. I stuck with solo ads, me personally. And this month, being my budget is kind of small, so I did only about maybe 2 or 3 solo ads. But this month, I generated over 70 leads and 2 trial signups. And that's just straight up perseverance, just following the training and attending the calls. So for all the new members, this system works, because I'm a new member myself. You know what I'm saying? This system works. Just follow through like what they're saying, and you will get there. And as far as me, how I'm financing the rise, I went from having a $7.50 hour warehouse job where I couldn't finance rise, and I found a way to get a $14 an hour job, and now I'm financing rise and maintaining everything else and working towards my goals every day. So when there's a will, there's a way. You know what I'm saying? And I can personally, attest for that as a new member here. That's all I wanted to say.
That's awesome. Proud of you, brother. That's awesome.
Bravo, Duke. Look at that. So Duke gets started with Digital Altitude. He gets started with Digital Altitude and doubles his hourly wage at his job. Doubles.
Yep.
There it is.
What it takes. What it takes. It takes that blood, sweat, and tears, man. It takes that perseverance.
You remember that, I don't know if they're still around, but I remember seeing commercials for Goya, what was it, like Mexican food, beans and stuff. Remember those Goya commercials, Beau?
Yeah, vaguely.
Goya, oh boy, right? And I remember somebody saying once, again, at an event that I paid to be at, somebody said, use the Goya method to reach your goals or whatever. And I was like, what is that? They said, get off your ass, G-O-Y-A, Goya. They hold up a can of Goya. Right. Yeah. Good stuff. Thanks, Duke. Oh, we have one more. Let's take one more before we wrap up. Michael, you are on the air. Michael Toomey or Tummy. Michael, can we hear you? Check your mute button.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, there he is.
Hello, gentlemen. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
My first question is sort of a burning question here, and I would suppose that there's some tax benefits to investing into this program. How does this process apply to the tax code? Are these deductible? Would this classify underneath, let's say, continuing education or as a separate business entity?
Yeah, you're starting a business. Education from a business is always a business write-off.
Okay.
I mean, now that you're starting a business and you have a home office, that portion of your home, and I'm not an accountant, so you need to check your accountant where your state apply and all that, but, I mean, I write off everything I can. I mean, the percentage of my house that's a home office, the percentage of my cable bill that's, based on the percentage of my house, my utility bills, my meals and entertainment, my travel. I mean, all that now becomes a write-off because you're a business owner. I mean, the tax benefits alone are huge.
So this would classify as a home-based type business, and that it would fall under the same category of deductions as most of them would, I would assume.
Yeah, it's all of them, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good news. That was the burning question I had this evening because I work in an industry. I'm a subcontractor and I don't have much overhead. So I'm always looking for opportunities to make my money work for myself. And what you guys have touched on tonight was something that I've discovered on my own and have researched these principles, by using the internet to get to the level of success that I'm at right now. I just feel like I'm at the next level, and I have a ton of questions that I won't bore you guys with yet. I'm going to speak with my coach tomorrow morning and really get digging in this. But I think that was the one thing that I really wanted to clarify, was that potentially this could create a lower percentage of withholdings.
Absolutely. That's huge. John, that makes me think of it, and I appreciate your question. That just struck a nerve with me. A lot of people are like, well, what if I take money out of my IRA or 401k? They're like, I'll be penalized. I'm like, okay, fine. So you have a 10% penalty, and you got to pay your tax bracket on the money you take out, right? But guess what? You're putting it into a business that's tax deductible. So it's a wash besides that little 10% penalty. So you take out, however much, and you put it in, it's a wash. And all you owe is that 10% penalty, and you pay that at the end of the year. And exactly. You should have made enough by then to pay that, so.
I think that's kind of how I'm approaching this, is that I'm looking for an investment opportunity, and that based on the lack of overhead I have in my current industry, it's, as much as I like paying into the system, I would like to reduce that percentage to a certain degree. So I'm anxious to get a hold of the coach and, further my questions, and I sure appreciate your guys' time tonight.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here.
Awesome.
No problem.
Thank you, Michael. And I will reiterate the legal disclaimer that we're not tax attorneys. Get with your tax attorney, get with your accountant.
Sure, yeah, I understand that. But I figured on the surface that this was probably a pretty basic question that, most business-minded people are gonna wonder, that if we get to this certain point, and just touching basis on the previous question, that it seems like it would be a good tactic, especially as it pertains to the follow-through principle here, that I think that's a common question that most people are going to have getting into this program is, well, what can I do at the lowest level? How do I get myself the ability to earn enough money to get to the next level? That's another question that's kind of reaming in my mind, and I'm not sure that you might have some insight.
That's a huge question that everybody has.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you have us as coaches, because when you get with me or John or one of the other S2 coaches, that's really the foundation of our talks for a week and a half before you get on a business plan.
Sure.
That's why you should, you don't even, you're new into this, you don't even understand, maybe you do, how awesome this is, because we address that for you for all of your people, man. You don't have to do that.
Well,
We
that
do
was
that for
I
you.
think, and I hate to sound like a lazy investor here, but the automation side of this is what appealed to me the most.
Yeah.
The ability to use my leisure time necessary. I know you guys spoke of being addicted to success and being obsessed with it, but the last thing I want to do is invest a bunch of money into another business and gain a third job here. So,
Right.
I don't mind putting in the work, and especially when I can find a passion for it, is based on the level of success I'm experiencing. However, there are questions that I have at all kinds of different levels of experience in being self-employed. And the gentleman's question previously, he touched on, I think, the most common one. So if those are things that our membership services are going to be touching on, well, that's great. But at the same time, I'm one of those hands-on type people. I like to know, I like to earn my ability to convert a customer, if that makes any sense. I want them to know. Even in my industry, the only reason my customers listen to me is because I'm the technician. So I have the ability to get my hands dirty, and am reluctant to shake their hands. They're so dirty sometimes, but they trust me because I've been there and I have the experience to guide them through this process. And those are the types of things that I think hopefully we'll be able to touch bases with my new coach here tomorrow morning as he walks me through this next level. But again, the appeal of the automation side of this and the tax deductibility of it, as well as the claims of return on investment. I mean, they're very appealing, and I'm anxious to get started.
Hey, Michael, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What sort of a technician are you?
I do what's called paintless dent repair. I'm not sure what side of the globe you're on, but a lot of people are familiar with it in Tornado Alley because we get a lot of cars that are damaged with hail.
Sure.
So these cars get the privilege of being covered under the act of God principle within the comprehensive insurance world, and that's how I make my money. Well,
okay, very good. I was just curious, as Beau knows from my past. I used to be a automotive and diesel diagnostician. I was a master technician. I was a chief engineer on a tugboat fleet out of New York City. It was a different life for me back then. But my hands got pretty dirty too.
You're tough as a coffin nail, I would assume.
Yeah, in some ways. But thank you, Michael. Glad you're here, and
of course.
Awesome stuff.
Yes, and thank you very much. I look forward to the next round of calls.
Yeah, and we look forward to seeing you in Vegas. And with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up Q&A. And Beau, thank you again, sir. We covered a lot tonight, and I'm going to go listen to this recording. I'm just terribly entertained, man. Thank you for all you do.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me out. Loved it. My
pleasure. Everybody, we will see you here on the Black Diamond again next Monday. In the meantime, join us on our wake-up call tomorrow morning with Tatiana, because it's Tatiana Tuesday coming up. And of course, if you don't yet have, for whatever reason, like you just signed up an hour ago or something, you don't yet have a ticket for the event Marketing Mastery in Las Vegas, get one now. Get two now. In fact, get a 10-pack or something. Bring people. It's going to be spectacular. I'll see everybody there. In the meantime, make it a great day, and talk to you soon. Bye for now.